Hello, I'm Nelson Liu, and thanks for joining us for Western Perspective. Well, he's the last candidate nominating to be Mayor for the City of Perth, and he wants to be in the job for you. Bruce Reynolds has vowed to be the voice of residents and businesses in the city if elected, stating he knows the community and its needs because he's been a part of it for many years. This week we talked to Bruce about his aspirations for the top job and his goal for the City of Perth.
Bruce Reynolds, welcome to WP.
Hello, how are you?
Nice to meet you. So, why do you choose to run last minute?
Last minute? Basically, I was waiting and watching the campaign unfold, and effectively, as the campaign unfolded, and I just didn't align strongly enough with the candidates. Individually, I thought the candidates were outstanding people and had outstanding facets to their careers, but I just felt like we needed someone of a little bit more rounded body to their careers. And when that didn't happen, then I decided, instead of complaining about the process, that it was up to me to put my hand up.
So there must be something that you felt that they're missing, and they haven't delivered. That's why you run. Is that right?
To a degree, yeah, absolutely. So I'm a stakeholder in the City of Perth. I started working in the City of Perth as a 15-year-old and I did an apprenticeship. As a 24-year-old, I started one of my businesses and then got to the stage now where I run 3 businesses concurrently. For the last 20 years, I've been involved with the non-for-profit sector quite heavily through my heart and hands, helping and volunteering all the way up through to board and chair levels. So I just, listening to some of the conversations in the forums and some of the things in the press releases, I just felt I was getting just a little bit angsty about some of those conversations, and also our role as a council and a mayoral candidate within a council. So we need to make sure that we understand fully what our obligations are to our ratepayers and our employees, if you like, which are the stakeholders of the City of Perth. That includes the whole state, because the City of Perth is a jewel of the crown of Western Australia, and whilst our ratepayers fund the internal runnings of the actual city, we still have to obviously look after and be custodians of the city for the whole of Western Australia.
What makes you angsty when it comes to conversations? Well,
some of the conversations around the homeless, for instance, having a non-for-profit background and understanding that. Some of the conversations around, I won't say, generally the way forums are run, you've got 2 or 3 minutes to say your spiel. And it's almost like a classroom president type thing where the promises seem to be getting bigger and bigger. And where I'm sort of more of okay, what can we actually achieve, what can we promise, and what can we deliver? I don't want to be putting these things out in the ether that we can't necessarily achieve and deliver, and we should know we can't achieve and deliver them. I think we should be focusing on what we can achieve and making sure that we uphold our promises.
You do have a lot of sacrifice, though.
Absolutely.
Are you ready for it?
I think so, yes, definitely. I'll tell you one thing I'm ready to sacrifice. This is just a conversation I had yesterday, was with the street chaplains came in and they said, we'd like your support via a letter. And I said, well, look, my goal is to be known as the most community-minded, hardest working mayor that Perth's ever had. So what I'll sacrifice to you guys, it wouldn't be a sacrifice, it would be a privilege, is one Saturday a month, I'll go out on their Saturday night run, which starts at around about 10 o'clock and finishes at 6 in the morning. I'll do that gladly, because that's a promise that I know I can keep. So sacrificing my business would obviously, I'd have to readjust the way I work within my business. Effectively, I'd have to move things aside, because I don't do things in halves, so I will be a full-time, hands-on mayor that delivers everything everything I set my mind to and everything I promise, I'll be able to deliver, because I won't promise things that I cannot do.
What about young ratepayers? What can you promise them?
Young ratepayers? Well, one thing that I'm looking at, actually they're even younger than ratepayers, I've committed to $50,000 of my allowance to go to creating a youth board, and that youth board would be young leaders within our community. They could be prefects of local schools, basically 7 or 8 young leaders, and then that $50,000 will then go into pay it forward type projects. So if you imagine if we were to have an event, let's just say it was at the WACA, and we had some high profile sporting stars come along, we had the children, we opened it up to our whole community, including the homeless, where we could have sausage sizzles, we could have backyard cricket type arrangements, we could have a whole community day. And then the power in that, well, can you imagine a young child talking to someone's homeless and that homeless person tells them their life story and they go, wow, really? You weren't born on the streets? You had a normal childhood? You went to a good school? What happened? And then all of a sudden it becomes real for them. There's other things that we can do with that Pay It Forward type project, whereas when I was at Make a Difference Foundation, we implemented a breakfast club. So it was around about 500 breakfasts a week that we were providing to local primary schools. And that cost, with sponsorship and with the PNCs coming on board at different schools, I think it was around about $5,000 out of our foundation, and it was matched by another organisation which was that could supply food. That's 500 meals a week.
Finally, what's your assurance to young ratepayers?
Okay, so my assurance to young ratepayers is I know from my track record that I have a high level of integrity. I know that what I say are the things that I know that I can produce. So I don't make high promises on things that I believe are going to be outside what we can actually follow up on. I know that I'm hardworking. I've proved that through my 25-year career as a business person. If we get somebody who's independent, hardworking, with common sense decision-making process as a mayor, I think we'll be in a good place.
Bruce Reynolds, thanks for joining us and all the best.
Thank you for having me.